Hit it.
Wearing barefoot shoes for 30 days. Now, why did I set myself this challenge, you might ask? Well, in the past year and a half, I've heard a lot of great stuff about barefoot shoes. How they're supposed to increase your stability, help strengthen lots of small muscles in your feet, they're supposed to improve running speed, brings them back to the way they're supposed to be used. So yeah, no, I've been intrigued by this for quite a while, so I figured why not give it a go, why not try barefoot shoes myself. So in order to do this challenge, I will need a pair of barefoot shoes. So that is exactly what I've got right here. There we go. This is the sort of colour scheme I went with. Figured it was a bit like funky, a bit fun, could be alright. So yeah, let's get them on. After having walked a bit around in them, my initial thoughts are that they're really comfy. Like surprisingly so. Honestly, they feel really nice, feel really light. Feels like I could jump really high in them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, no, in terms of shoes, these are the only pair I'll be using for the next 30 days. Let's go. Okay, I'm currently 1 week into the challenge I set for myself of wearing barefoot shoes for 30 days. I've been on a few jogs, so I've gotten a decent amount of steps in, to be fair. And what I've found so far by wearing the shoes is that as my heels are sort of low to the ground, the dorsiflexion of like your ankle is much more pronounced. I know that, like, especially now when I'm running, after a while I'll really feel like the dorsiflexion sort of working in my ankles. So what I am slowly trying to do is implement some exercises, even though I'm just sitting by my desk or stuff, to try and focus on strengthening that part of like the ankle foot sort of complex. I notice whenever I run, my body actively now tries to avoid landing on my heels, because if I gain some momentum, if I have some speed and I go for these jogs and runs and stuff, the impact on your heel is much more pronounced. It's right there, you really feel it. Whereas like when you're wearing usual shoes, like regular ones with a lot of padding in the heels, with that much padding, you can run sort of however you want, like land on your heels, pretty much run on your heels without really experiencing any discomfort or any pain. Whereas now, without that sort of cushioning, I feel it a lot more. So whenever I run, my body automatically tries to sort of change the way my feet move in order to not land directly on my heels, but also not just clap the soles fully on the ground and, like, you know, seem like someone that's just trying to make the most noise possible, which is a bit weird. For the next couple of days, I'll be looking into some videos, looking into some stuff online, trying to see if there are any good exercises for running technique in particular, and seeing if there are any tips generally you can apply pretty much immediately to change up the way in which you run. So far though, feedback I'm getting, like as I said, dorsiflexion and like the mechanics of how you place your feet, every step you take, is quite interesting. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys for the next weekly update. Let's go. Back for another update. I'm currently just about 2 weeks into wearing barefoot shoes, and I feel the effects. It's a bit chilly, it's a bit cold out here, so let's get in for a proper update. Let's go. Last segment was me talking about how I was going to look at some methods of running and stuff, and I did look at them, like how people, when they use barefoot shoes, they focus on running with a forefoot strike, I think it's called. And geez, I've been for a few runs, doing the entire session for a few kilometers only on the forefoot strike, and it feels somewhat, it's just incredibly liberating in a way. But for the past week or so, my ankles and my calves have been absolutely destroyed. So I would assume I'm doing something correctly. One of the other things I did pick up is how many steps you should have per minute and stuff like that, and I think what I heard was 180 per minute. You don't want to have your feet be on the ground for long, you want to tap, if that makes sense. At least that's how I've understood it so far. I'll look at more videos from other people, see what more I can learn about this and put into practical use, but so far it does seem like a forefoot strike is absolutely something to get more into, get more familiar with. And yeah, it's kind of exciting though, because it feels as though it's working, and I definitely feel that I'm using different muscles, yes, to stabilise, but it's a completely different way of using my feet when I'm running with barefoot shoes now. So yeah, it's very exciting. Let's keep it going, and I'll see you in the week 3 update. Here we go. So there we go, guys, I'm back with a new weekly update. I've currently worn the barefoot shoes every time I'm outside now for 3 weeks straight, and not that I noticed too many new things from last time, but more so sort of with my heels. So whenever I run, whenever I go in for actually running or jogging, I try to do the forefoot strike, and it proves quite efficient. Like, as long as my ankles sort of manage to hold me well, and that's alright, then I just propel forward. It's really interesting. It's a completely new way of running. It's as if you unlock a different skill. Like, all your life you've just been used to crawling and now you can walk, or you've just been walking and now you can run. It's truly that kind of feeling. But sometimes I do have to say this though, what I have found at this point is that sometimes, and I don't run every day, I have noticed a few times my ankles are really weak, so I go in for the forefoot strikes, like start the run, and I can't hold that higher pace, because it's simply like I feel the strain in like my ankles. And then if I just walk around you normally, I'm trying to focus on not impacting my heels a lot, because, you know, just smashing your heels into the ground when you're wearing barefoot shoes isn't ideal. But what I have found is that my heels are somewhat sore after a few days. So I don't know what it's from. Maybe it's overuse, maybe it's my feet not being used to a proper technique where I'm not that heavily impacted yet. But yeah, no, that's currently my experience with them. That is a bit like your feet gets a bit, I don't want to say strained, but they definitely take their toll. So I try to have a decent amount of rest as well, and whenever I notice those things, try to take it a bit easy in the next couple of days and not walk for that long distances, or, you know, cover that much ground, so to speak, because I don't want to get an injury if it is avoidable. So far, positive experience. We'll see how it'll be. 1 last week left. Here we go. There you have it. That has been 30 days of just wearing barefoot shoes. Well, at this point actually a few more than 30 days, but you know, there you go. Now, if I were to give myself any tips, if I were to give anyone else any tips, or generally if I were to redo this thing, I'd probably be a bit more careful, because at some points my feet were kind of killing me, my ankles, and just even right now I feel like it's built up a bit over the last couple of weeks, and I can feel like whenever I'm sort of like going downstairs and stuff, they're a bit sort of strained, in the sense that I can definitely feel that they've been working overtime. So tips for anyone starting out: switch between your regular shoes and your barefoot shoes, sort of transition into it, like ease into it a bit lightly. But I would definitely say that some of the things I have done have been very beneficial. So yeah, no, I would definitely say that the strengthening exercises and sort of the mobility drills have been helpful to sort of just connect more with the ankle, and those are definitely something I'll be doing to a greater extent, and I'll still be doing for the next couple of months. Yeah, at this point, I mean, I'm definitely going to stick to this. I have looked into buying some more winter boots that are barefoot style, because, well, winter is coming and it's getting quite cold, and well, one thing is cold, but also like if there's a lot of rain, if there's a lot of snow, there are probably better alternatives than the ones I bought. Another thing is I'll probably be testing out a few like brand barefoot shoes, the sort of the top of the line, the best sort of thing you can get at the minute, because that is somewhat interesting to me, seeing how it would be and how they would compare to these ones, which I basically bought on eBay for, was it £15-20? I mean, I just wanted to try it out, and even those gave me quite a positive experience, to be honest with you. So yeah, definitely something I'll keep on going with, and generally sort of connecting more with my feet, strengthening the ankle, and generally allowing for my muscles in my feet to develop, if that makes sense, the stabilizing ones and stuff. All of the muscles are generally involved with you walking around barefoot, and the way you are sort of designed to be moving around, that are not really stimulated when you're wearing non-barefoot shoes, because they either group all your toes together in a way that sort of reduces stability and sort of prohibits the natural movement, or they push up the heel, right, giving that way too much cushioning, or both. So I'm sort of stepping away from that quite literally, and yeah, love the barefoot shoes approach. I won't keep this segment too long though. That's pretty much all I have to say on the topic. If you guys would like to have some updates from me on barefoot shoes, you'd like me to try out any sort of iffy niffy cool things that might increase some aspect of human performance, or any niche things like that, let me know about it. Maybe I'll make a video of me having tried it for a few days or weeks, and we'll see how that goes. But without further ado, that was my video on trying out barefoot shoes for about a month. And yeah, if you guys have any questions, if you guys have anything you'd like to talk to me about, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.